Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. We will study some of the topics from C++ and then by 2:40 we will start our challenge test. Okay. Okay. So today first we will study about a program in C++ for finding the volume of the box using this pointer and constructor. So here in this program we have used this pointer as well as constructor. Okay, we have used both this pointer and constructor. So here, if you see in this program, okay, so here what we are doing means we are finding out the volume of two boxes. We are finding out the volume of two boxes and then we are checking whether box 1 is greater than box 2 or not. So we are doing the comparison. So first we are finding out the volume of two boxes and then we are doing the comparison. So here if you see there are two header files, then you are having class box. So box is the class name here. So here we have used private access specifier for these three variables. If you see here for length, breadth and height, you have used the private access specifier. Then for public, within public you are having uh, one constructor. So this is a parameterized constructor and here you have used three parameters. So if you see here all the three parameters here itself you have initialized. So double L equal to 2.0 like that here itself you have initialized. Then this is the constructor. Then this is the method. This is the method or function. So volume is the function that is used here. Next you are having another one method that is used for comparison. So this volume of method, this is used for finding the volume of the box. This is used for finding the volume of the box. So given the length, breadth and height, you are multiplying the three values to find out the volume. Then you are having compare of box. So why here they have used this box? Because box is a class name, isn't it? So when this box is the class name, what is the argument following the class name? So this will become the object, isn't it? This will automatically become the object. So when the data type is the same as the class name, the argument following the class name is the object. So within this compare, what you are doing means here you are comparing. So this line I will explain next. So this line is for comparison. So after going to the main function, I will explain this. So here you are having constructor, where constructor you are initializing the three values. Then volume is for calculating the volume. Then compare is for comparing the volume of two boxes. Then three private access, private attributes. So here you are having the main function. If you see within the main function, you are creating an object here. You are creating an object here. So box 1 is the object. So box 1. So box 1 of you are passing the three values here. So here at this line, now what will happen at this particular line? Here the memory will be allocated using stack, isn't it? For this particular object box 1, the memory will be allocated. The memory will be allocated box 1. So then what it will do, it will create the object based upon the class as the template, isn't it? So what is the class here? Box is the class. So within this particular class, you are having three attributes, isn't it? One is length, another one is breadth, another one is height. Length, breadth and height. These three are the three attributes within this object also. So here now what is the next task you have to do? You have to initialize. So for initializing what you have to do, you have to go to the constructor. So when you are going to the constructor here, you are passing three values 3.3, 1.2 and 1.5. But here when you are passing these values, here directly the call will go to the call will go here, isn't it? The call will go to the parameterized constructor. The call will go to the parameterized constructor. But even though this value is passed at this place, if you see the value of double is initialized as 2 for all the three values. The value of double is initialized here itself as 2 for all the values. So within this now, what is the first line? Constructor is called, isn't it? Constructor called. This will be printed in the output. So this will be printed in the output. So here what will happen means here length is initialized as this is 2, isn't it here? So length is initialized as 2. So breadth is initialized as again 2. Then height is initialized as 2 here. So here all the values are initialized for this particular box 1. All the values are initialized for this particular box 1. So 2, 2, 2, like this, all the values are initialized for the box 1. So here next what will happen means, then it will create the box 2. It will create the box 2. This will create the box 2. So box 2 also will be having now 3 parameters. Box 2 is also having 3 parameters. So length, breadth and height. Length, breadth and height. These are the 3 parameters. So next again the call goes to the this particular constructor. So this particular constructor, so now what will happen means, here again the value is again initialized as 2, isn't it? Again the value is initialized as 2. So again when the value is initialized as 2, now what will happen means, here again the length, breadth and height, this will be again initialized as 2. This will be again initialized as 2. So here now what will happen here? So again the call will come here. What is the call? Box 1 dot compare of box 2. So this condition will be checked, and now box 1 dot compare of box 2. Box 1 dot compare of box 2 means, here what will happen here? So box 1 dot means, here this object is invoked, isn't it? This object is invoked. So when this object is invoked means, what will happen means, within this particular this pointer, here this box 1, this object will be pointed by this particular this pointer. So here compare of box 2 means, here again box 2 will be here, because here for this compare of box 2 means, for this particular argument which will be passed here, box 2 will be passed here. Box 2 will be passed here. So again when this is calculated here, so before returning, what will be calculated here? The volume of box 1 is calculated, is compared with the volume of box 2. So volume of box 1 is compared with the volume of box 2. So when the volume of box 1 is greater means, this will be returned as true. When the box 1 volume is greater means, this will be returned as 2, isn't it? But here what is the volume? Both are having the same volume, isn't it? Because for box 1 also 2 cross 2 cross 2, for box 2 also it's 2 cross 2 cross 2. So here this will not be returning one value, isn't it? So this will, because this condition is actually false, isn't it? So here this will be returned as the false value 0. So here when the condition is checked, means this condition will not be satisfied. So this condition will not be satisfied because both the volumes are actually equal, isn't it? So only when the volume of box 1 is greater, this condition will be satisfied. So this condition is not satisfied, and it will come to the second else part. So in the else part, what is printed here? Box 2 is equal to or larger than box 1. So this particular line will be printed here. So this line will be printed here. So first one time the constructor is called for box 1. That time constructor called is printed. Second time the constructor is called for box 2. That time also again constructor called is printed. So third time what is called? This particular compare of box 2 is called. So when compare of box 2 is called, here the comparison is done. When the comparison is true means, this will return a 1 and this condition will be satisfied. If this is not returning 1 means, this condition will not be satisfied and the else part will be executed. So any doubt in this?
Ma'am, so if we don't initialize 2 to 2 in the constructor, then it will take the values of
Yes.
LBH we give while
Yes.
calling the function, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Yes. Okay. Shall we go to the next slide? Do you all of you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So already we studied about constructors in the last class, isn't it? So 4 types of constructors we studied. So what is the main type of constructor? What is the main task of constructor? Main task of constructor is to initialize the object, isn't it? So already I told that whenever the object is created, the call automatically goes to the constructor. Why does it automatically goes to the constructor? To initialize the object. So always the constructor is helping the object creation, isn't it? So what is the use of the destructor means? The destructor is used to destroy the object. Okay, the destructor is used to destroy the object. So how can you, so already constructor, how can you give the name of the constructor? The class name and the constructor name are same, isn't it? The class name and the constructor name are the same, but same name you have to give for the destructor also. But the only difference is that in the destructor, you have to precede it by a tile symbol. This symbol you have to precede it. Okay, before the name you have to give this particular tile symbol. So this particular destructor will be having no return type and no parameters. It will be having no return type and no parameters, and it will be, its only task is to destroy. So whenever, if you are creating some destructor, if you are creating, if you have mentioned the destructor inside your program means, what will happen means, if you are creating an object, you are initializing it using constructor. Then if you have mentioned the destructor means, before coming out of the program, using the destructor, it will destroy the object. It will deallocate the memory given for the object. So it will destroy the object if you have mentioned destructor in your program. So how you can mention the destructor, you can give a tile symbol before the constructor. So here if you see the header files, so this is the class department. So what is the objective of this particular program means, here this is a simple program where you are creating classes employee, two classes here you are using. Okay, so one is the employee, another one is the department. One is the employee, another one is the department. So for employee class also you will be creating the constructor and destructor. For the department class also you are creating the constructor and destructor. So in this program you are having two classes. Okay, so this is the first class, class department. Second is the class employee. So within this particular department you are keeping a constructor. So constructor by always you have to give it within the public access specifier. So here this class name and the constructor name are same. So within this you have given only one line, constructor invoked. Then you are mentioning the destructor invoked, you are printing inside. So same way within this class name employee also, you give the constructor and give the destructor. So now we can come to the main program and you can create objects and you can check how the constructor and destructor are called. So this program is mainly for checking the order in which constructor and destructor are called. Okay, only that order we are checking. So now we can check how, which is called first, that we can check now. So here destructor D1, then you are giving employee E2. What is the meaning here? D1 object is created, isn't it? D1 object is created. So okay, D1 object is created. So now next what is created? You are creating, so destructor D1. So immediately what will happen now? Object is created, it is allocated memory, and now what you have to do? You have to pass the call to the constructor. Pass the call to the constructor. Where is the constructor? This is the constructor, isn't it? This is the constructor. Now the call comes here. And what is printed? Constructor invoked for department class. So constructor invoked for department class. So after that you are coming here, employee E2. So now what will happen here? Here employee E2 means here this particular object is created and allocated memory. So then what is the task? Go to the constructor. So where is the constructor? This is the constructor. Employee of is the constructor. And here what you have to print? Constructor invoked for employee class. So after this, there is no usage of these two objects, isn't it? With this, the program ends. There is no usage of D1 and E2. So now what will happen? Call will automatically go to the two constructors. Call is automatically going to the two constructor. So here the call first goes to the employee object. Call first goes to the employee object. So it is distracted. So before distracting, what is printed here? Destructor invoked. Next, the call goes to the department. So here what will happen means, within this particular destructor, it is given that destructor invoked for department class. So initially constructors are invoked. After the scope of the object ends, immediately the destructor will be invoked. So once the scope of the object is ending means, immediately if we have mentioned destructor means, the call will go to the destructor. The call will automatically go to the destructor for destroying the object. So this is about the destructor. So did you understand destructors?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this one I already explained. So actually you have to study about static data members and static member function. Okay. So once again, I will explain the static data member and then I will teach you about the static member function. So first we will study about static data member. So this one already we studied. Okay. So here, what is the syntax of the static data member means static keyword. Static keyword you have to give. Then you have to give the data type. Then you have to give the variable name or data member name. The variable name you have to give. So just like the declaration for ordinary variable, but before the data type, you give the static keyword. So what is the use of the static keyword means here, when you are creating a static keyword means only one copy of the static data member will be there in the class. Only one copy of the static data member will be there in the class. So because all the objects will be sharing the same static data member, only one data member will be there. If you are giving it as static, it will be shared by the all the objects. So here if you see file header files you are including, next you are giving the student. So this particular program is for getting the input of name, roll number and marks. So here for this particular class, what you are doing means you are creating three objects. Next, what is the purpose of the program means you have to calculate the total number of objects. Calculate the total number of objects. So to calculate the total number of objects, what you have done in this program means inside the constructor, you have given the static data member. Inside the constructor, you have given the static data member. So each time the call goes to the constructor, the static data member will get incremented. So every time you are creating an object, each time what will happen? The call will automatically go to the constructor. When the call goes to the constructor, the object count will get incremented. So in this program, totally 3 times you are creating the object. So 3 times call goes to the constructor. So where is the constructor here? This is the constructor. So 3 times call go to the constructor and 3 times this object count will get incremented. So here this object count, this is static, isn't it? This is static. So only one copy of the static data member will be maintained. Only one copy of the static data member will be maintained. Only one copy means first if this is incremented to 1 means second it will get incremented to 2, then it will get incremented to 3. So only one copy is maintained here. So if you see, there is a class student. Within class, what are the private attributes? Roll number, name and marks are the private attributes. What is the public attribute here? It's the static kind object count. So this is the static data member. This is the example for the static data member. So here object count, this is the variable or the data member. This is the data type and this is the static keyword. Then only this will become the static data member. So inside the constructor, you are incrementing this particular data member. So first it will become 1, then it will become 2, then it will become 3. So like that, there is only one single copy. So if you are not giving this static means what will happen? When the object first time calls, it will be 1. Second time when the object calls, it will be again 1. Like that, it will maintain a different copy. So here as you are giving static, it will be having the same copy. So here get data, this is for printing the roll number, name and marks. So sorry, getting the inputs. So put data means printing the roll number, name and marks. Then if you see here, this is the initialization. This is the initialization. So how you are initializing here, you are giving the data type. So the data type for object count is already we know, isn't it? Object count is the static data member. The data type is int. What is the class name? Using the always see this static data members, static member function. This should be accessed with the help of class and you have to use a scope resolution operator. Okay, if you are using class to access the static data member or static member function means here you have to use this scope resolution operator. This particular operator you have to use. So here you are using class for accessing the data member. So student is the class. Then you are using the scope resolution operator, object count equal to 0. Next, you are having the main function. Within the main function, first what you are doing, student S1. So now what will happen? Okay, object is allocated S1, S1. So here memory is allocated. Next, what will happen? It will be having 3 attributes, isn't it now? Name, roll number, and marks. So 3 attributes it is having. So to initialize, what it will do now, the call will go to the constructor. The call is going to the constructor. So where is the constructor here? This is the constructor, right? The call goes to the constructor. So now the object count will become 1 because already this is initialized as 0, isn't it? So here the object count is becoming 1. Next, what is happening here? S1 dot get data. S1 dot get data means here it will, we are entering the roll number, name and mark. We are entering the roll number, name and mark. Then S1 dot put data means we will be printing the roll number, name and mark. Then you are having student S2. Student S2 means again you are creating for S2. You are creating for S2. The second object is created. But same process you have to repeat for S2 also. What is the only difference? The call will again come to this same constructor, isn't it? Because all the 3 objects belong to the same class student, isn't it? Here also the class student, here also the class student, here also the class student. All the 3 objects S1, S2 and S3 belong to the same class. So it will come to the same constructor student. So here object count now gets incremented. So this will become 2 now. This will become 2. 1 will become 2. Next, what will happen? Third time, you are creating the object S3. You are creating the object S3 for the third time object is created. So again, what will happen? Immediately after the object creation, call will go to the constructor. Within the constructor, now what is the value that is maintained? It's plus plus, isn't it? So 3. So object count is 3. So now when you want to print also, you have to print it using the class and the scope resolution operator. So class, scope resolution operator, then the object count. So in the output, if you see here, this is the inputs that are being given. This is the input that are being given. So here everything is obtained as input and everything is printed. Finally, if you see here, the total object count is 3. Why the total object count is 3? Because it's maintaining the same copy of the static data member for the 3 objects. So finally, if you check what is the number of objects, how you are finding here the number of objects, we are placing the count inside the constructor because each time an object is created, automatically the call will go to the constructor, isn't it? Only for that purpose, you are creating the object count variable within the particular constructor. So each time the object is created, call will go to the constructor and it will get incremented. So did you understand this program? That they also explained, isn't it? Are you clear this one?
Ma'am, we can
Okay.
initialize 0 to object count in the class itself, right? Like
No, like this
we
only
can't.
you have to initialize for static data member. This is the syntax for initialization because here it is a common copy, isn't it? For all the 3 objects, it's behaving like a common copy. So like this only you have to give.
Okay.
So like static data member like this, you have to initialize and you have to access this also using this scope resolution operator. Okay, for printing also you have to do like this. Okay. Okay. So next one is static member function. Only one small difference is there. Okay, between the 2 programs. If you see here, static member function is used for accessing the static data members. Already we studied what is the static data member. The static member function is used for accessing the static data members. Okay, so how it's used for accessing that we will study here. So if you see here again, what is happening? You are having the header files. Okay, header files. Next, you are having this class. Class name is box here. Within the class box, you are having the constructor. So before the constructor, here what you are using actually static data member. This is a static data member. Static int object count. Static int object count. This is a static data member. So here within this particular constructor, you are initializing the 3 values. But here itself, you are giving it as 2, 2, 2. So automatically length, breadth and height will be initialized as 2, 2, 2. So here, if you check here, here also within the constructor, what you are doing, you are incrementing the object count. Within the constructor, you are incrementing the object count. So here, what all things we have? We have a static data member. We have the constructor. Within the constructor, you are increasing the object count. Next, you are having volume, the method volume. Then another one method or member function. What is the name of the member function? Get count. What is the difference here? This particular member function, you are declaring it as static. So this is a static member function and this is a static data member. This is static data member. This is static member function. So the objective of this program is actually here we are just passing the values length, breadth and height. Actually, we are not at all using it to calculate. We are not at all displaying here the volume and all in the final output. We are just passing the value to the constructor. Our motive is to count the object. Okay, so we are not at all calculating the volume or anything here. We are just passing the values for this length, breadth and height. We are just initializing only the object count we are calculating. Okay, so here also what we have to do for calculating the object count? Give the object count within the constructor. Then only you can increase it every time object is created and you can calculate the final object count. So here also same logic. Object count is given within the constructor. Then only each time the object is created, this object count will get incremented. So here also the object count is a static data member. Then this volume of this, actually this we are not using much. Then int get count, static int get count. This is the syntax for member function. This is the syntax for data member. This is the syntax for static member function. So what is the use of the static member function? Means it is used for accessing the static data members. It is used for accessing the static data members. So here if you see this object count, this only duty of this particular member function is to return the object count, So here we are declaring these three attributes as private. So with this, the class is over. If you see here, again you are initializing the static data member to 0 using the particular class name in data type, class name, scope resolution operator, then the object count is initialized as 0. Then you are having the void main function. Within the void main function, first you are calculating the initial stage count. So initially here we have initialized this as 0, isn't it? Here we have initialized the initial object count as 0. So if you see here using using two methods you can access the static member function. Okay, using two methods you can access the static member function. That is here if you are seeing here before creating the object, sorry. So this is the class name, box is the class name, box 1 is the object name, isn't it? Here also box is the class name, box 2 is the object name. So before creating the class, if we want to access the get count, already get count is our static member function. So before creating the object, if you want to access the static member function also you can access. But how you can access? You have to give the class name, scope resolution operator, then get count. Then you can access. After creating the objects, how you can access means using this here they have access using class only. But after creating the object, if you want to use the object for accessing also you can use. Okay, but in most of the places if you see means for accessing the static data member and static member function, they are using this particular class name and scope resolution operator. So class name, scope resolution operator, then the static member function. So get count of. So here when it is calling the get count of, what will happen here? The call will come to here, isn't it? The call will come to here. So already this is initialized as 0, isn't it? So the value of object count is 0 and the initial stage count is printed as 0 because this is initial stage count, isn't it? So before creating the object, this particular call goes here and it is taking the initial count as 0. So initial count is 0. Then what is happening here? So already here we are giving this object creation, isn't it? So when this object is created, what will happen? Call will automatically go to the constructor. The call will automatically go to the constructor. So here you are having constructor called. You are having constructor called to display. So here constructor called is displayed. Constructor call is displayed. So next what is happening here? Again this second object is created. Now what will happen? The call will again go to the constructor. So when the call goes to the constructor for the first time, what will happen? This object count will get incremented, isn't it? First it was 0. So when the first call comes to the constructor, it will get incremented by 1. So it will become 1, isn't it? So when this second object is created, again the call will come to the constructor. So this is the constructor, isn't it? This is the constructor. This is the constructor portion. So here again the call will come to this particular object count, and this will be again incremented. So two objects are created here, isn't it? So when the first object is created, the call will go to the constructor and object count is initialized by 1. So when the second object is created, the call will again go to the constructor and the object count will be again incremented to 2. So now when you are printing class name, scope, resolution operator, get count, the final states count will be 2 because 2 times objects are created, isn't it? So 2 times call goes to the constructor, and here the object count is a static data member. So that count gets initialized to 2. So here get count, what is the purpose of the get count? After incrementing this one, it is returning this particular get count. It is returning this particular using get count, you are returning the object count. So when it is incremented as 1 and after you are calling get count, that value will be returned using this particular get count. So here the get count is the static member function, and its duty is to access, its duty is helping to access the static data members. So this is about the static member function and the static data member. So for static member function and static data member, you have to create just like the ordinary member function, but give the keyword static. Also, you have to access it using the class and the scope resolution operator. So any doubt in this? No doubt. Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then you try whether exam is opening in vPropel.
Excuse me. Sorry, I
Yes.
just joined. I just
Yes.
joined 5 minutes before. I wanted to
Okay.
confirm. Is the pack today or not?
Today, already I posted message in Teams, isn't it? Last week itself I posted. Tuesday
Yes,
is
ma'am.
your PAT
Is
exam,
the
challenge exam.
okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It's C, right? Not C++.
C.
Thank you.
Okay. Start doing. Write the algorithm, okay?
I'm not able to find the exam and programming tests.
What? It's not
I'm
visible.
not. Yes, ma'am.
240, 240, okay. The time. Time is, what is the time now? 2:34. Okay, you go through the portions. Wait for 5 minutes, okay?
The portions is complete C programming, right?
Yes, complete C. Complete C.
Ma'am, the test is visible. Can we start?
Okay. If it's visible means start.
Ma'am, how many questions are there?
Anand? Only one
Yes,
question
ma'am.
is
I asked how many
there.
questions
Only
are
one
there for the
question
test,
is
ma'am.
there. Only
one
one
question, ma'am?
only one question.
Okay, ma'am.
You
Okay.
finished.
No, ma'am, I
Did you
haven't finished.
finish?
I'm asking because this question's taking long. I asked if there are different questions.
Okay. I thought you
So we
finished.
give algorithm and pseudocode and
Mm.
also code program, no, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Yes.
ma'am, in this part, does the password also have to be a part of the structure, or we just have to print it
No,
that
you
way?
have to calculate. You just print it.
Okay, yes, I wanted to
Okay.
ask that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, the pattern of the password, ma'am, First,
Ah.
we have to do the first two digits of the roll number,
Okay.
and then you're writing and then attach the sum. Like after the first two digits, we have to write the sum of the digits of the roll number.
No, not like that. It is, see if the did you check the test case? Then you will understand better. If there is 4 digits in the roll
How to-
number, means first 2 digits calculate the sum. Put that sum after the first character of name.
Can
With
you
the
give an
first
example in the chat box? Can you just
Ah,
give an
then
example?
There is no
oh,
test case, ma'am.
test case
don't
I
think.
have
Like,
given.
ma'am, usually when we do PAT on all this, ma'am, there are a few examples which, ma'am, we are given so that we
Okay,
can
okay. Here
relate
I
and
will
we.
give. I will give. Wait.
Okay, ma'am.
Should I post the screenshot of the test cases here? Okay, I'll do just a second.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, I posted a photo of the test cases.
You posted. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. The code is enormous. So could you just extend the time for a bit? I see I only have 20 minutes left.
I can't extend the time, I think. The default time is 45 minutes. 45 minutes you have, right? When did you start? 2:35 itself you started.
Yes, ma'am.
Total, actually, it's allocating the time default. Okay. Pat means I can't give the time. It will allocate default. It's allocating as 45 minutes. You at least try to finish the program.
I have two doubts, ma'am. The marks will be in integer or float, ma'am? Like in the
You give
test
it as
cases, will
integer.
that be
Integer
integer?
only I have given.
Okay, ma'am. And then the grades, ma'am, like what is the range for each grade?
Range for each grade. You just give it as a character as input. That's all.
Okay, ma'am.
You don't need no need to calculate the grade by yourself. You just give it as character input.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can we leave if we're done?
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, my time got over on the test. It was not running on vPropel, but it was running on my VS Code.
Okay. Anyway, I will be checking the code.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, earlier also it was giving this right time dumped command code. So it is giving the same error.
Okay. Okay. If you have finished writing the code means it's okay. Did you write the algorithm and all algorithm
No,
pseudo
ma'am,
code?
I didn't have enough time. Sorry, ma'am. I
Okay.
was just trying.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, can you leave?
Ah, yes, you can leave.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you have submitted means you can leave. If you have time for doing means try doing. Don't leave the program just like that. Some of you are just leaving the program as a blank window and leaving. Don't do like that. At least try something. Yes.
Ma'am, in the last second, ma'am, I found out that I hadn't put a colon after initializing I hadn't put a semicolon after
Okay.
initializing a simple variable, and because of that, the program wasn't running. In the
Okay.
last 12 seconds, I just put and I pressed the execution button, but
Okay.
it hadn't given me the output and it showed time over. When the last 12 seconds I did.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Anyway,
at least the code would have been saved, right?
yes, code would have been saved, I think, because it is automatically saved, right?
Yeah, but
Uh,
no, I don't think it's automatically saved. No.
If
Is it?
someone of you told that day that it's automatically saved, it's not like that.
No, I think
Ma'am, it
it is.
saves
Yeah,
every time you run the code, ma'am.
yeah, right, like that.
Okay.
No,
Okay, I
so
will check. Okay.
no, like it was showing
Um,
loading, so I guess that loading was for execution. Like I guess the code must have been
Mm.
saved.
Okay, only after all of you finish the exam, only I can check the code. Okay. I will check anyway. Okay.
ma'am,
Ah,
I did not get the output, but
okay.
you'll check the code, right, ma'am? The
Yes, I will
logic.
check the code. I will check the
Yeah.
code. Ah,
There was no
if
time to
you're
write the other things also,
Mm.
pseudocode, algorithm, those
Yeah,
things.
ma'am. Ma'am, the question was
Okay.
Program itself was like
quite
really
lengthy in
Okay.
nature, ma'am.
Okay. If you have written, at least written the program properly, then I will give
Yes, ma'am.
whatever
Ma'am,
maximum mark I
actually,
can give, I will give. Ah,
Okay.
no,
ah,
actually,
please.
and the logic of the program was not that challenging, but in getting
Okay.
the output, ma'am, there are a lot of
Ah,
errors now. I don't know why.
okay. Syntax, in the syntax and lots of errors coming.
Yeah, ma'am, every
Not
time.
particularly the syntax, but
Ah,
I'm like,
ah,
we have to like construct this password, right?
yes. Mm,
So logically, I think what I'm doing is correct, but I'm not getting the
mm.
output in the
In
VTOPL. So I think
vPropel,
Yeah,
it's not printing properly.
something like that, I guess. When you see
generally,
the code,
ma'am,
you'll understand.
Okay.
the logic of
Ah,
getting the password is not really tough. If it was a
okay.
Python program, it was like hardly few lines. But
Okay. Ah,
most of the functions don't work here, and whatever logic that I have in mind,
mm,
I'm not able to implement them because
mm,
any method I think of, such
mm,
functions methods are not
mm.
applicable.
In
So
vPropel.
in
Problem in vPropel.
C itself, and vPropel also gives some random error sometimes.
Okay. I will
So
be checking the code anyways. If you are, I will first check whether you are getting the
Ma'am,
output.
can you
If not,
extend the
means I will
time
check.
for
See, I
10
can't
more?
extend the time because in
Okay.
vPropel default it's assigning the time. I am not at all mentioning the time.
there
It's
are
default assigning.
Okay, ma'am.
I have some friends who write parts for 1.5 hours and all.
Yes, ma'am. Like 1 hour they get that
1.5
time.
hours.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, ma'am.
They have
Ah,
told us. When
ah,
we generally have a talk, we
ah,
discuss we
ah,
part and stuff. They're like they can
ah.
have 1.5 hours for some parts.
1.5 hours. Here
Ma'am,
all are
Uh,
conducting for 45 minutes only.
even
For the
last
other,
year we had more
ah,
than 45 minutes, ma'am, in the first sem, ma'am.
okay. With the other staffs also I am consulting. They are telling just 45 minutes. Okay, I will check whether any option is there. Okay,
if it's
I will check.
possible, you can from the next part.
Ah,
And
okay, I
ma'am,
will try. Okay.
next
Ah,
time could you give more
mm,
example? Next time could you give like
oh,
examples of like the test cases and all
with
in the
the question
output?
itself.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. In the question
Okay,
itself, it becomes much easier, ma'am, like that.
okay. Here already Aditya Krishna posted, isn't it?
Ma'am, yeah, I'd like to see the test cases. I guess first we have to give any print command and it gives the test cases so that you can see. But like if you give it in the question itself, that would be easier.
Okay, I will. I thought you will, when you check the test cases, you will understand. That's why I didn't give it there. Okay, next time I will
Ma'am.
give. Okay. Next time I
Okay,
will.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ah,
Thank you.
okay.
And ma'am, please do consider, ma'am, like this time the question
Okay,
was
I will
quite
check.
lengthy
Okay,
like
anyway,
that.
I will check your code. If there is, if you are not passing the test cases, means then I will go through the code next. That's my second step actually. When I go through the code, if it's correct, means then it's okay.
I
Okay,
didn't
ma'am.
get any errors, ma'am. But then I
Okay.
got some random garbage value returned.
Okay.
I have same.
Ma'am, I'm
Oh,
getting no error, but no output either, ma'am. Nothing is printing, ma'am. I even tried to print general within the main function. Nothing is coming as output, ma'am.
okay. Then there will be, that's the problem with vPropel maybe.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll just try to write up whatever pseudocode I can and then finish it when the timer ends, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, if nothing prints, that is around command dumped time code. Something time related error it is.
Something?
Time related error. This happens like it happened to me as well.
Time, I think time may have expired because of that it's true.
No,
doing, I
ma'am.
think,
I'm
isn't
saying
it?
ki, like while VPRPL is running the program, it expects the output within a certain time. So that so if
Okay,
it
okay.
doesn't get the output within a
Ah,
certain time, it doesn't print
ah,
the entire output. So it just prints
oh,
empty.
oh, it prints like that.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, what you do means you can't save the program somewhere. If you can't save the program in some Word document or something, you try later in online compilers. Okay, whether you are getting the output there. It's anyway once checked like that.
We'll have to code the whole thing again, ma'am, because from vproper you cannot copy and paste.
You cannot
Otherwise,
copy.
yeah, otherwise I would have given it to you in your MS chat
Ah.
teams only, ma'am, like that. That is not a
Okay.
problem.
Okay,
Okay. No, but you
anyway,
can
I will
copy
be
in
checking
VPRPL.
code. Don't
You
worry.
can copy in VPRPL.
Who can copy? Me.
Ma'am, I copied in VPRPL. Like you cannot
You
paste
copy.
something in VPRPL, but you can
Ah.
copy in VPRPL.
Okay.
So I have my code. So I can send it to
Okay,
you
if
in your personal
ah.
chat if you want.
Okay.
Ma-
If you have, you
ma-
send it to.
Ma'am, but
Okay.
anyways, you'll have the code now that which we submitted, right?
Yes, if I think it's automatically submitted, I hope so. So I will
Yeah.
check. Okay, so don't worry if you don't get the output. I will check the program. Okay, so don't worry.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
If you have finished means you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
In the attendance?
Attendance, I will take it from the
Okay,
exam, attended exam.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
okay.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in my program, ma'am, when I just created like just plain structures, it was running properly, ma'am. I was able to get input and then print the output. But then once I coded like my logic for creating the password, I'm not getting like the code is running, ma'am, without errors, but then the output is not being printed.
It's
Even
not
though I
printing
have
properly.
even though I have print statements, the structure is not being printed through the for loop.
Okay. If you can copy means you copy the code in some Word and you try it in the online compiler. Okay. So that you can find if any errors are there. I will be checking the code. Okay. I will check the code. If it's correct means you will be getting the maximum marks. Okay. So
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
worry about that. Okay. So if you If you want, if you can copy means you copy and try it in online GDB compiler.
I also have a doubt in structures, ma'am.
Okay.
Can we
you
use
say.
structure elements like a variable, ma'am? Like if I have, say,
Mm.
s of I equals s of I dot a or something as
Mm.
a structure element, can I write
S of I. S of I.
array brackets I, ma'am?
Array you can use within structures.
No, ma'am.
We
Is
have that
equal
inside
to
the
some
notes.
value. Can I write it like that?
Equal to you.
Structure
Equal
element
to
equal to some value.
that you structure element. You are saying inside the variable you are using an array, right?
Can you
That
use
is
like a structure element as a variable itself directly? Like if I have an element called G, ma'am, which is like integer value, can I while running the for loop for getting the input, can I directly give that element is equal to some number? Or
if it's not an array means here you can use, because in G you can store only one value, isn't it? If it's not an array means that structure element here you can use.
okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So we shall end the meeting, okay? So all of you submitted. Rohit. Rohit already left. Rohit, did you finish? Did you submit? Rohit?
Ma'am, you are asking me, ma'am.
Yes. Did you submit?
I saved my code, ma'am, but I couldn't get it to execute.
Okay, okay. Time is there. If time is there, it means you try.
No, ma'am. No, I'm just
Time
done.
time is over.
Yep, ma'am.
Okay. So we shall end the meeting, okay? I think for all of you, the time would have expired, I think, in B
Yes,
profile.
ma'am.
Okay. We shall end the meeting and we will meet in the next class, okay? Thank you.